Hi students, this is Professor Shannon, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit about this week's work in our class SPT 461 Seminar on Sports Management. First of all, this week's topic is human resources, which, as we all know from your studies, that talks about how we can get hired and how hiring process works, and that's what the focus of this particular week is. So I really encourage you to look at all the information that's on the module. I know a lot of times we don't look at the requirements and non-required items when we're doing online students. I know I'm the same way when I was a student, so I encourage you. They're really there. They're excellent, and they'll really help you out. The first assignment that you have this week is a journal that you're going to write some thoughts after watching a video on hiring, which is a really neat idea, a revolutionary idea in hiring. And I just want to point out a couple quick things here, and excuse me while I glance away from my screen occasionally to look at my notes. I don't have it all memorized. First of all, when you watch this video, I would encourage you to be taking notes as you watch the video, and then I would encourage you to actually watch the video 2 or 3 times, because I know when I watched it the first time, I didn't pick up on everything that was there, and there's some really great stuff. So as you write your journal assignment, the prompts are basically 2 things. Number one, to point out the key points and key ideas and takeaways, and a takeaway is something that you can use or want to remember from the project. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that term or not. But then the second thing is adding and expanding on what the video has. Now, my experience as I've taught this class a couple times is that the students tend to do a pretty good job on the key points and takeaways, but quite frankly, don't do a very good job critically thinking about ideas or other things that could be added. So I would really highly encourage you to do that as you go along. So that's the first assignment. The second assignment is the one that's going to be very time consuming for you based upon my previous students' comments, and that is milestone 1. And I want to make sure that I make it real clear to you what's expected, because quite frankly, some of the material is a bit confusing. And I've taught this class, and this is the 3rd time I've taught this class, and I've made some recommendations to leadership, and hopefully they'll be implementing those soon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to help you out a little bit. First of all, this whole project starts, the milestone, the final project for the class, all starts and it's centered around a job description. And you're going to look for a career job, a job that you would like to go into. And I asked you that put that information in your first week's discussions. But find a job and find an actual real job description. Go online, do some research. They're everywhere out there. And find a real job description and for a position you would love to have at some point in your career, preferably fairly soon in your career. And then use that as a basis, because that is what, when I assess your work, but not only when I assess your work, but having been on the other side of the desk, both on the hiring and on the application side, I have found that on the hiring side in particular, I look at the job description when I look at people's information. And if they don't meet the job description information, then quite frankly, your resume doesn't get looked at, can get thrown away, can put at the bottom of the pile, and then you've lost any chance of getting the job. So the job description is critical. So find that job description, whether it's you want to be a sports agent or an athletic director or a college coach or whatever it might be in your area of interest. Find that. And then the next thing you do is you want to develop your resume. Now, your resume should be in the format that the university suggests, not a template that you might get off of Word. There is a template right in the module, and I would highly encourage you to download that and use that. It is dynamite. I have looked at tons of resumes in my life as a hiring manager, and found that there are a lot of them that just aren't very good. This one is fantastic. As a matter of fact, I believe in it so much that I actually reformatted my own personal resume to this format. So that tells you how much I believe in it. So that's the format we're looking for. And I would encourage you to use that and look at it and read the details and the directions, and also watch the videos on how to set up a good, proper resume. Because again, for many of you, this is the first time you've written a professional resume like this. You may have had one in other classes, but this is top notch. Then the second thing is your cover letter, and your cover letter is critical to the hiring process, which I'll get to in a minute when I talk about all 3 of these things. But your cover letter, the format you should use for that is, if you look at the on your course under required or resources under Module 2, you'll notice there's a thing called SNHU Career Edge. Click on that link. It'll bring you to a page, and then you'll look on the left-hand side. You'll see something called Quick Guides, and then under Quick Guides, you'll see a PDF file there called Resume and Cover Letter. It's basically a 32-page document, but you want to really focus on pages 28 and 29 because that tells you what the cover letter should look like, gives you an example of an excellent one. So I would highly encourage you to look at that. Then the third requirement that is part of this project is actually the fourth. You count the job description, the resume, the cover letter. Then the fourth one is actually the infographic, and the infographic is a fairly new concept in hiring within the last 8 to 10 years, and is one where you can have some fun. You can be creative. You get to show your creative side. There's a video on your required resources put out by Marissa Mayer that details what an infographic is. She gives an example in the link, and that's what it should look like. And you can do that in PowerPoint. You can do it in an online version. You can come up with whatever creative ways that you can to complete that particular assignment. So now, what do you need to know? Well, here's what I want to tell you. You're entering a very competitive job field. I know that from personal experience, and I know that from my 13 years of teaching sports management at the college level. Many students feel that they'll get a degree and then they'll get a job. Well, let's be blunt. It's not like that at all. You're going to be competing, and you could be one of hundreds of resumes for some jobs. How do you make yourself stand out? That's the key right now. How do you get noticed? Because quite frankly, I know as I've hired individuals for jobs, I get 20, 30, 40, 50 resumes, and I look at the resume, and quite frankly, I give it a quick minute or two overlook, the cover letter, the resume, whatever documentation comes, and if it doesn't stand out to me, or if I see errors in spelling or grammar or formatting, I just put it at the bottom of the box because I don't have the time to do that when I'm hiring. I'm a busy person when we're hiring. There's lots of applicants out there, lots of competition. So what can you do to help yourself? Well, I want you to first of all remember that you are in a very competitive market. So it needs to be perfect. And I know that's annoying, but it has to be perfect. No misspellings, no typos. It has to really look professional. That is really key. And I will be blunt with you. I'll be very direct with you, and I'll be very, in some people's words, critical of you with your work, because it's my job to help you become the best you can be and be best prepared for you in the future. So I really encourage you to just really focus on that. Just really look to point out your great experiences and things like that. I am more than willing to help you. I'm more than willing to look at your drafts. Folks, to be honest with you, I do this because I want to help you. I don't do this, and I love teaching, but I love helping students become professionals. And so don't feel like you're bothering me. I'm here to help you. And call me, send me an email, send me a draft. I'd love to look at what you have. Take my feedback I give you. I'm amazed, quite frankly, there are a number of students I've taught in the past that don't take the feedback that they're given. And again, I don't get that, but again, hey, whatever. It's your life, it's your choices. So, all right. So again, Professor Shannon here, trying to help you out with week 2. And feel free to give me a call, send me an email, ask me a question about anything, whether it's just classwork or even just career stuff. I'm here to help you. I've been very blessed to have been involved in a lot of different organizations and a lot of different experiences to go along with my academic preparation, and just love to help you. So, all right. Thank you. Take care. Have a good rest of your day.